G'day YouTubers, it's the Saint here, and as some of you in Sydney know, we have council elections all over New South Wales, and there are some big things going down in New South Wales. Two names, Frank Sartor, who wants to get rid of local government. I have with me Councillor Chris Harris from the Greens, who's running for Sydney City Council.
Hi, G'day, how are you? Fletcher. I wasn't sure what your station was. Aren't you the Saint, Fletcher? Saint, well, you're no, but we know you're no Saint, Fletcher. Yeah, so I'm running for the Greens. I'm running for the Lord Mayoral's position as well. And so Sydney is a Lord Mayor because Sydney needs to make some big changes in terms of our sustainability.
It's a shame that at the moment some of the sustainability proposals that you've put up to an independent who claims to be green friendly and very much into sustainable things has rejected some of your proposals in the past, haven't they?
Well, actually, yeah, that's very interesting you say that, because there's a big push from that particular person on trigeneration, which is a very efficient way to use energy in a building. And just about 2 years ago, we actually designed, or we committed to building a new community centre in Surrey Hills, the Surrey Hills Neighbourhood Centre, and we spent 20 million on that building. And I put up to council that we should include trigeneration in our building, and funnily enough, that ruling party didn't support trigeneration. Now they're talking around coming out saying they support it. But what's more important is what we want to do in terms of energy generation. One of the big problems we've got in Australia now is we're burning coal to make electricity. And we need to do something about that, and we need to do something about that urgently. Now, at the local government level, we don't decide to build power stations, but one thing we can do is that we can all get together and we can try to drive a project. So in this election, we expect to get somewhere between 60 to 100 Greens councillors elected throughout Sydney and throughout the wider state. And what my projects in the next term of council, if I'm elected, will be to get those people together and to get those councils together to commit their purchasing of energy to a new solar thermal energy project. Now that's something concrete that we can do to actually create an emission-free solar thermal project using Australian technology.
That is a fantastic idea for a solar thermal power station already, is that right?
Well, there is plenty of land in New South Wales that's got long periods of sunlight. So one example is some land in Moree. One of the good things about the land in Moree is that it's very close to the grid, so close to the transmission lines where the electricity goes down. And also the land's cheap, it's not expensive. And thirdly, there is spare capacity on the grid in that area. Another area, for example, would be Bourke. And so one of the spin-offs from this is that will generate local jobs in places like Moree and Bourke, which is a really fantastic thing.
And it's not really as expensive as what the critics of this idea would lead us to be. And once it's up, the sun doesn't really cost anything. And California and America and countries in Europe have learned that and are doing that right now, aren't they?
Well, one of the criticisms of solar thermal was that it was unproven, but that's no longer the case. So the Spanish are really going gung-ho with solar thermal. And what happened in Europe with wind is the Norwegians took hold of the wind business and they created an industry that generated 20,000 jobs, and they did that in a 20-year period just from the wind industry. They became leaders in that wind industry. Now here's an opportunity for us in Australia to become world leaders in solar thermal technology. And I can tell you, if we don't do it, the Spanish will do it, or the Americans will do it, somebody will do it. So this is a great opportunity for us to use Australian technology, using proven technology that's working in America, and like you said, and in Spain and in other parts of Europe, and to apply it here in Australia. And the important thing is, it doesn't use any fossil fuels. It's emission-free. We use the sun's rays. Now, in terms of cost, it's comparable to what 100% green energy is now, but in time, we think solar thermal energy will come down to be the most competitive energy on Earth when the economies of scale kick in and these are being built on a large-scale basis all over the world. Quite an exciting possibility.
I don't think many people in Australia would disagree with you, and I think many people, particularly on the local government level, are wondering, why have the state and federal governments been dragging so much on this?
Well, we've given up trying to get them to do it, so we're going to try and do it. So that's one of our policies. Just a second thing, just before we sign off, St Fletcher, is that one of the things that we're crying out for here in Sydney is affordable housing. And
so I wanted to ask you a current housing crisis, which, as YouTubers know, I will be homeless in a few weeks, and I will be in Merimbula. I can't actually help Chris. I will be in Merimbula, and it's close. This is a close to home thing, which is affecting a lot of people, homeless like me. I just don't get it.
Yeah, well, there's a specific piece of land that the City of Sydney owns that some people on the staff are talking about being surplus to our requirements. It's in the Zetland area. It's the old South Sydney Hospital site, and the City of Sydney owns it. It's on our books. I think it cost us about $14 million. In today's market, it's probably worth $25 million. So, we've got it for a cheap price. It's 160,000 square metres, so it's a very, very big site, and can accommodate a lot of affordable housing. Or if the economics of that don't work well, we could sell half of it to a developer and develop half of it with affordable housing, or we could do some joint venture with the state government if they need to build a school. There's lots of really good things that can be done with that land, but the important thing is that we don't sell it to private developers to be turned into residential housing. It's important that we hang on to it and we use it for a public purpose. And I think one of the key public purposes that the City of Sydney needs to get involved in, they don't at the moment, but they need to, is affordable housing. Building housing that people can afford to live in, because the big expansion in industry between the city and the airport is going to require a lot of workers. And we don't want all those people travelling from Western Sydney to come to work. It'd be great if they've got somewhere that's affordable where they can walk to work or get a bus to work. So that's a really important strategy that the city needs to take care of. The city's not big on it. They are going to keep this on the agenda and fight very hard for this in the next council.
It's one thing that a lot of people don't know is a lot of people on, say, disability support pensions. Hi there.
Okay, very good.
It's far away for more than 2 months. The doctors have forbidden it, so it's a puzzle. And housing is scratching their hair out. Housing, I think the staff will be voting green after the performance from the other ones, because they know that this is bloody important. What is it that they can't see,
Oh, look, I just think it's old thinking that we shouldn't be managing housing by ourselves, and maybe we don't have to manage it. Maybe there is a better way to do it, but the important thing is that we've got these sites and we need to preserve them. Might end up assisting some cooperatives to build housing on that site, or we might work with City West Housing on that site. So we don't have to manage it, but the important thing is we don't sell the land. We hang on to it just to build affordable housing. Anyway, Fletcher, I've got to get to our fundraiser tonight. We've got a trivia night tonight. Thanks very much. And for the people watching this video, September the 13th, I encourage you to vote above the line 1 green. The left-hand box on the ticket, the first box on the ticket, please vote number 1 green.